So, folks, I wanted to just a quick addendum to your papers, which I've graded. Some people did outstanding work. Some people followed through. I did present a video in Module 1, which indicated how to narrow your focus. I went over this in a live session that we had last Sunday, not this past Sunday, yesterday. And I made a mandatory video, kind of heading out of last night. Okay. So there's sort of two examples now, or two things that you can refer back to in your material about how to do this. So let me give you an example of what I saw that was good, and an example of some tendencies I see that are going to be a problem for you. Here's a good example. Dwight, your classmate, wrote about wealth and income inequality. And that's a comparatively broad topic, but he very quickly narrowed it down to disparities in wealth between African Americans and whites. Okay? And he identified a process, redlining. Okay? For middle class families, black or white, this is the way that for most people that wealth is acquired. Most of us are not Bill Gates, right? Or Jay-Z, in terms of wealth acquisition. We're just not. We're middle class people for the most part. And most people get middle class wealth through home ownership. And there's racism, systematic racism in the way that the mortgages are allocated. And so he gave me enough in his synopsis, his milestone 1, that I was able to direct him in a certain way. And he's got a very strong product that he's going to move forward with. Okay. Other people have a few problems, and it mainly stemmed from either you glossed over or did not watch the first video that was embedded in Module 1 about, or the video that I mandated that you watched last night. And so for some of you, you got a third link to a mandated video. It's a video that you must watch. Okay, if I told you to watch this video, you need to watch it. Okay? Here's a problem I'm seeing. Okay? Most people, it just went right to the prompts. They read the first part, and they read the word prompt. They did not follow up with the material, like digging deeper into the topic. A prompt is to get you thinking about something. Okay? It's a broad way of thinking about something. You cannot write me a paper about drug and alcohol abuse. You can't do it. You can't write me a paper about crime and violence. You can't do it. A prompt is to get you thinking about it. It's not a stopping point or a topic. Right? A lot of people just, they went there. That indicated to me you hadn't read terribly deeply. So I see a format of a paper that's problematic. Okay? We are in a sociology class, right? And as such, we're looking at broad social patterns. Okay? So this is why I pulled this up. Okay? It was just a addiction. They're trying to sell you a treatment program here, but they had some good facts on drug addiction and alcohol addiction. Okay. It's called a substance abuse disorder. Okay. Alcohol use disorder, and substance abuse. Okay. So, we get here a thumbnail sketch that the people need to really consider. It is too broad a topic. Go down to where I said, supplemental materials, as I indicated in the video, and narrow your topic. Here's what I'm getting and what we really don't need. And before I make this comment, let me say, parenthetically, right? I know I come off sounding like I don't care, or I'm craven, or you don't matter. That's not what I'm saying. But here's what here's what we have to do here, okay? And I'll use myself as an example. I'm a recovering alcoholic, okay? Me personally. It probably affected some people in my family in an outsized problematic way. Okay, it's been going on 11 and a half years. If I'm writing a story about alcoholism, right, a research monograph, I don't need to know why, people don't need to know my personal story, okay? I'm a lot of times I think you've learned to write by, well, you need to hook the reader. No, not here. You need to write like a paper, right, about drug and alcohol abuse. So, I have chosen the topic of alcoholism, as a social problem. Boom. What I'm getting is people writing me 2 paragraphs about how this has impacted them personally, and then they might write a paragraph or so about how it's a really bad problem. That's not sufficient. And I know it's probably affected you personally, and that's okay. I'm not trying to diminish your personal experience. But we have to go way past that. That's got to be just a sentence, not half the paper. This isn't a class about, kind of like an encounter group or whatever. It's a class in research. So, what I have to do, again, and that's my story too. So I'm not, I feel you, but let's get past that and watch the video that I made to really look at this and to seriously look at this. If this has informed you, if your personal family experience or your personal experience has informed you, then you owe it to the problem to really take an in-depth look at it. Okay? I've done that. I've assessed treatment programs with some social work professionals. One of the things you do as a sociologist is to evaluate. So, but I didn't, it didn't have to do with my experience. My experience led me there, but let's leave your experience, over there. Okay. It led you there. Let's go beyond thinking about our personal or family experiences. Okay. So why? Because this is it. If you think it's impacted you, it's impacted 40% of people, in the United States. Probably 1 in 8 people is dealing with some kind of a substance abuse issue. Now, you're not going to write an entire paper on, quote, drug and alcohol abuse. And when I see that, that means that you've gone to the prompt and you've read that and you're just blasting through it, right? And if I told you to dig deeper, dig deeper. Go to that supplemental link and watch it. Okay? That same is true for, quote, crime and violence, unquote. And please don't tell me also the history of an entire topic. When I start to read about Egypt or the Aztecs, I know that what you've done is you've done a Google search and you put down, you kind of summarize the first thing that you came up with. Not sufficient. We're looking at problems in the United States of America now, in 2021. And you need, whatever history led up to a problem, you need to look at it. In Dwight's case, structural racism was built into the housing and mortgage system in the United States post-World War II. And it's still there. So that's a relevant history. That's relevant, okay? drug and alcohol abuse. Tell me, narrow it down. Tell me about alcoholism or prescription pain medicine abuse, right? Prescription drug abuse, or the opioid epidemic, or addiction and treatment. Narrow your focus before you move ahead. If you don't, there will be consequences, okay? I think everybody did a good job in terms of, of looking at references, but these are some points I want to make with you, okay? All right, take care.